What is going on, crypto kings and queens? If you watched my last video, you know I have a few different scenarios that I detailed of price targets for where I think that Bitcoin is going during this bull market and where it's going to be topping out. Now, naturally, the other topic that I really wanted to cover is when should we be selling? When am I going to be selling? And what is my plan as Bitcoin reaches these new prices? So in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to detail. So stick around, it's going to be great. Now, if you didn't watch that video, real quickly, the least likely scenario in my opinion, maybe a 15 to 20% chance is that we top out this bull run below 100K. I think that's not super likely, but it is possible, especially as we get close to 100K. Psychologically, it's a big barrier. I could see a lot of people taking profit. So maybe we end somewhere in the 80 or 90 mark, and then that's the end of the bull market. In my opinion, the most likely scenario is topping out between 100 to 200K, likely around 130 to 150K. In my opinion, the biggest chance. And then of course the hopium scenario, but in my opinion is not very likely at all, is that we go up to 200 all the way up to 500K. It's a big range. It's also a lot of money, and a lot of people are thinking it's going to happen. So I tend to not think it's going to happen, but it could happen. I don't know. So now let's get into this. When am I selling and how am I going to do it? So I'm going to detail the actual plan with actual numbers right here. So as we go up in this bull market, as we see new prices, new all-time highs, we are going to reach different numbers. And so this is how I'm going to first start selling Bitcoin. I'm going to sell 5% of my total Bitcoin holdings at 85,000. I'm going to sell the next 5% at 95,000, another 5% at 100K, and another 5% at 110K. And this basically is a way of me getting around 10 to 15% of my Bitcoin stack sold by 100K, so that even if that first scenario kind of plays out where we tap on 100K and then we go back down, or maybe we don't even get to 100K, I've at least sold 10%, maybe 15% of my holdings. It is kind of painful to sell at these numbers because I know they feel like they're really big numbers, but also at the same time, it kind of feels like Bitcoin's going to be going much higher. So it does feel like you're kind of jumping off the boat before it gets to cruising speed. The next thing I'm going to do is 5% sell at 125K, 5% at 140K, 5% at 155K, and 5% at 170K. Now, if you are like me and you think that Bitcoin is going to be topping out between 130 and 150K, then, you know, if we're going with my plan right here, then by the time we get to, let's say we tap out at 145K or something like that, right? Then we have sold effectively 30% of the entire stack, still holding 70% through the next bear market, right? That's essentially kind of the more realistic sells. And then there is a big portion of my Bitcoin stack and my holdings that I don't really want to sell. So it would have to get up to 200K for me to do my next sell. So 5% at 200K, 5% at 220K, 5% at 240K, and 5% at 260K. And that leaves the other 40% for long-term hodling, or I might reconsider selling that other 40%, at least a portion of it, if Bitcoin runs up past 400K. Then I would have to say like, okay, I do have this 40% that I've always said I'm gonna just hold forever no matter what, but at 400K, it's pretty enticing. So we'll see when we get there. But the first 60%, those are the details. I'll put them in the description below as well so you can visually see them. But it kind of just gives us a way to scale out. And in my opinion, at this point, while we are in this bull market, but we're not just like flying up parabola style, I feel like now is the best time for you to sit down for an hour or two and literally write a plan down. Because as you see Bitcoin skyrocketing up and get to 100K and then 125K, you're gonna say, oh yeah, I had a plan to like sell at some point. I didn't really figure out the numbers. And then also now we're moving so quickly, like, I don't know if I ever want to sell. It might go to 1 million. And then you sit there and you hold until the next bear market and you see an 80% drop. It's, you know, it happened in 2017 for so many people. As Bitcoin got up to 19, 20K, a lot of people were saying like, oh, it's a paradigm shift. The whole world's changing. It's going to go to 40 and 50 and 60K. And then we watch Bitcoin drop and drop and drop all the way until it bottomed out a little over $3,000. For a lot of people, that was max pain, and that was very difficult to cope with. Another thing that I do want to talk about, and I think we should all be planning for, is taxes, right? So a lot of people say that they'll never sell Bitcoin and they'll just borrow against it. That way they never have to pay the taxes. Then again, if you hold through an 80% drop, you probably would have been better off paying the 20% tax and buying again, you know, and you would have made 60% more Bitcoin. See what I'm saying? That is the plan for me. The only reason I'm selling any Bitcoin is that I can buy more once it bottoms out in the next bear market. So here's how capital gains tax works, because I don't think anybody actually knows this. I think a lot of people do not know the figures. Pretty simple. Capital gains tax rate in the US is 0%, meaning that anything that you hold for over a year, you get taxed at capital gains tax rate versus short-term tax rate, which is just like at your income level. So capital gains tax rate is 0% if you make under 40K a year. If you make between $40,000 and $440,000 a year, then your capital gains tax rate is 15%. And if you make over $440,000 a year, your capital gains tax rate is 20%. Meaning that if you have held Bitcoin or any other asset like stocks or anything like that for more than a year, then you get taxed at this capital gains rate. And it's very simple. Like I said, 0% if you make under 40, 15% if you make between 40 and 440, which is probably most of us, 20% if you make over 440K. So unless you are selling a ton of Bitcoin where you're going to be making over 440K because of it, then you will be paying 15%. That is painful, but I think a lot of people think that they're going to be paying 30, 40, or 50%, which is just not true. So as long as you think that Bitcoin, you're selling at a number that's high enough that it's going to be dropping more than that tax rate, then you're doing good. But if you don't think that Bitcoin's going to drop more than 15 or 20%, depending on your rate, then it's probably not a smart idea to sell your Bitcoin because the taxes are going to eat up that profit. Okay, now a quick word on altcoins. I've talked about my actual portfolio before. If you want to check out that video, I'll put it in the description below. Maybe I'll put a card on screen right here. But what's my plan for selling my altcoins? I'm going to be scaling out of them. I'm going to hold them all. What is it? So I have some pretty heavy bags of Litecoin and Ethereum with some other alts spread around like ADA and Stellar and XRP and Docademic Coin. So I've got some other things, but really my biggest bags are Litecoin and Ethereum. I plan to sell 100% of them, all of them. Not trying to hold any of those. And I believe an alt season is going to come after Bitcoin does its parabolic rise. And then after that huge rise, when it blow off tops, I think that we're probably going to see a period where as Bitcoin tops out and then kind of comes down and corrects a little bit, we're going to be seeing a lot of that Bitcoin profit money go into altcoins, and we're going to see this huge altcoin season. And then once that altcoin season is done and Bitcoin continues correcting down, then that will be the end of everything. So I'm hoping that I can time it well where I see all these alts running and I just sell everything. And in my opinion, a lot of these altcoin projects are good projects, and I do think they are good things to hold for a long time, but it's the same idea with Bitcoin. Sell them all, wait until the bear market, watch a lot of these alts drop 50 to 90% in value, scoop them up again, wait another 4 years, rinse and repeat. So there you have it. There is my plan for selling Bitcoin as we go through this bull market. It's really good just to have other people's opinions and hear what other people are doing, and it can kind of help you develop your own plan. And again, like I said earlier, I do think that you should develop your own plan. That way you aren't thinking emotionally, you're just sticking to the plan. So even if your plan ends up being really high numbers where you're like, I'm not going to sell any Bitcoin till 200K. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe it never gets to 200K. But when it does get to 200K, you're satisfied with actually selling it. Don't set your numbers so low that you're going to be sitting there being like, I don't actually want to sell it, because then you're not going to stick to the plan at all. So make a plan that you can actually stick to. And then when it happens, stick to the gosh damn plan. Okay? I hope this video was helpful. I want you guys to let me know what you think the Bitcoin bull market top is going to be. And also, do you plan on selling any at all? Or are you going to hodl all the way through until the next bull market? I just want to know what you guys are thinking. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the very next crypto and investment video. Peace.